This is a Warhammer Space Marine by Joytoy. This is also a Warhammer Space Marine Intercessor by Joytoy. In this video, we'll be discussing why there's such a big discrepancy in size.
Shut up and sit down.
Hey you scallywags! We're right on the heels of the release of Joytoy Space Marine 2, and if you checked out my video review, we went through an exhaustive amount of size comparisons, where we found out that Titus and his buddies are bigger, way bigger, than Joytoy's previous offerings. On September 2021, the world changed. Joytoy kicked off their Warhammer line with their 40k license, releasing the Incursors and Infiltrators. This was initially a China exclusive, but I was lucky enough to get my hands on them when they released, but there was a big uproar at the time. Shortly after, they released the Intercessors. This included 4 figures from the Blood Angels Death Company, which was a strange decision as by that time we hadn't had any Blood Angels figures whatsoever. But along with that, we also got some Ultramarines. Now these were marketed as 1/18 scale, but were smaller relative to your standard human-sized figures in the same scale. A Primaris Space Marine in the real world would average 8 feet in height. Your average 1/18 scale human figure is about 3.75 inches, or for more modern figures would average at about 4 inches, which in the real world would be about 5'7.5" or 6 foot respectively. The first Space Marine Intercessors Joytoy released stand just under 4.5 inches at 4.375, which if you were to blow that up to real world size is 6 feet 6.75 inches, which is smaller than British boxing heavyweight great Tyson Fury. For most of 2022, Joytoy would refine what we in the community would call their 1.0 Space Marine, but by the end of 2022 we would see the most drastic change in their Space Marine build with their new generation 2.0. With their Assault Intercessor Army Builder, Joytoy improved the build overall, including butterfly joints and the new hooped pauldrons. Aesthetically, these were superior and made the Space Marines look chunky. However, being the first iteration of 2.0 pauldrons, the articulation did suffer. One other thing that changed was an increase in size. By the 3rd or 4th quarter of 2023, we saw the release of the Intercessor Army Builders, which included Blood Angels, Imperial Fists, Space Wolves, and of course the Ultramarines. The hooped pauldrons now allowed more lateral range, the hands were bigger and better for holding weapons, and the overall build quality was just improved all round. But this was all in the midst of Joytoy improving their knee joints. So just a few months later, a small run of Ultramarines were quote-unquote re-released and has since been released again. But besides having a better shade of blue, Joytoy stealth dropped the brand new updated knees. The new knees are more pleasant to the eye, but also adds more height, making this size increase bigger than 1.0 to 2.0. which would roughly put them at the height a Firstborn Marine should be. If you want to know the difference between a Primaris and Firstborn, check out some YouTube lore. So why are Titus and his buddies so much bigger than the others? Well, firstly, I'd feel a little disingenuous if I didn't first mention that Space Marine 2 is a separate license to Warhammer 40k. Which means that this line of figures will include characters that appeared in the video game, which we can comfortably assume will also include characters from the secret level short. Where the 40k line were mainly based off the miniatures and had slightly off proportions, oh yeah, and the size was incorrect from the start, this new Space Marine 2 line does away with all those issues by starting over. Better proportioned figures that feel completely different to anything in their 40k or Horus Heresy line, and the size is finally corrected so that it fits with other figures in 1/18 scale. At about 5.375 inches, this would be just over 8 feet tall in the real world, making this true 1/18 scale. Will this size and scale be the new norm? I'm really into the new proportions and size, so keeping SM2 and 40k sizing separate will be a lot easier on my wallet. I can focus on Titus size, the new termies, and anything that scales true 1/18, which includes the majority of what makes up my collection. So for those like me, we can enjoy this new sizing guilt-free, but it would also preserve the collections of a lot of collectors by keeping things separate. But with the size creep over the years, it seems this is where Joytoy wants to go. So we'll have to wait and see what the new norm will be. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you like the new size, or do you want things to stay the same? If you want to buy your own Joytoy Warhammer products, please check the links for my affiliates in the description of this video, where you'll find money off discount codes, and you'll be helping out the channel. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up. For more content, subscribe, and I'll scale you later.